Filled with the Holy Spirit, Jesus returned from the Jordan and was led by the Spirit into the desert for 40 days to be tempted by the devil. He ate nothing during those days, and when they were over, he was hungry. The devil said to him, "If you are the Son of God, command this stone to become bread." Jesus answered him, "It is written, one does not live on bread alone." Then he took him up and showed him all the kingdoms of the world. The devil said to him, "I shall give to you all this power and glory, for it has been handed over to me, and I may give it to whomever I wish. All this will be yours if you worship me." Jesus said to him in reply, "It is written, you shall worship the Lord your God, and him alone shall you serve." Then he led him to Jerusalem, made him stand on the parapet of the temple, and said to him, "If you are the Son of God, throw yourself down from here, for it is written, he will command his angels concerning you to guard you, and with their hands they will support you, lest you dash your foot against a stone." Jesus said to him in reply, "It also says, you shall not put the Lord your God to the test." When the devil had finished every temptation, he departed from him for a time.
Reminiscent of the chosen people wandering around the desert for 40 years, Jesus, led by the Spirit into the desert for 40 days, during which he was tempted by the devil. Do you really know where your desert is? I think when we hear the word desert, we think of being all alone. If we say to ourselves, "I have no plans to go to the desert," then unfortunately we do not understand our Lenten journey. Going to the desert is a time of purification. It's meant to be a time of renewal. We are meant to be strengthened through the gifts of the Holy Spirit, so that we can take another look at what we do and hopefully come to a better understanding of why we do what we do. Very interestingly, in the first reading, the wandering Aramean, that's otherwise known as Abraham. And hopefully you remember Abraham was taken outside and told by Yahweh, by God, to take a look at the stars. And Yahweh made a covenant with Abraham that as he looked at the multitude of stars, that would be his descendants if he went to the land of Canaan, which is what God wanted him to do. Unfortunately for Abraham, he wanted to check out things a little bit. So he decides to go to Egypt, which for the chosen people, boy, was that a mistake. Because they were mistreated, maltreated, and oppressed by the Egyptians. That it would take Moses to lead them out of bondage. Have to keep in mind, sometimes the grass looks greener on the other side. Until we get there, we say to ourselves, this is not what I had planned. We have to listen to St. Paul. One who believes with the heart and so is justified. One confesses with the mouth and so is saved. We are asked by God to allow him to be the Father and we the adopted children. Why do we do what we do? That's why in the gospel passage, Jesus shows us very graphically when we're confronted with the temptations of life. And sometimes it's prestige, sometimes it's power, sometimes it's wealth. And sometimes we're so self-absorbed, we forget to look at the other. Who is our neighbor? Or perhaps a family member who is in crisis. And because they're a family member, we say, well, we've been through many crises before. I can't give anymore. God never says no. So we have to be careful when we think it's all right to say no. Which it isn't. The devil tempts Jesus as he brings him to Jerusalem. He says, you can have all this. That's otherwise known as the devil was really tempting Jesus to back away from crucifixion, death, and resurrection. The last line of the gospel passage, when the devil had finished every temptation, he departed from him for a time. The devil comes back into the picture when we meet Judas. Now I'm not trying to jump the Lenten journey. In our Lenten journey, it is not merely a series of what are we going to give up, but it is the truth of letting go. We think we have power, letting go of that deception, to allow God to self-infiltrate our lives, permeate our existence, and guide us in the proper direction. He calls us his children, his loved ones. May we, in truth and in fact, call him Father, and give thanks for sending the Son, who with the gifts of the Spirit makes us his people, his new creation. It is February 17th, middle of the month. What happened to the rest of the month? How did we get here so quickly? Same thing can happen with our Lenten journey if we do not start now. Say, yes, Father, here I am. I've come to do your will. May God be with you.